Hare Krishna. So, as you know, that very soon, next week is the festival of Rath Yatra, Lord Jagannath's Rath Yatra. So, on the auspicious occasion of Rath Yatra, we remember Lord Jagannath, and we are in the mood wherein we try to pray to Lord Jagannath, we try to call out for his mercy. And there is a very beautiful bhajan, which is Jagannathashtakam. So this was composed by Shripad Shankaracharya, and we always sing this. It has a very deep meaning. It basically reminds us of the Lord and his pastimes. So uh, we can maybe somebody can read the translation. Actually, if you could read the translation loudly, we have the first we'll read out all the 8 verses. So then that way uh, we know what we are singing, and then after that we can focus on the Sanskrit. No, only translation.
Jagannath Ashram, verse 1. Sometimes in great happiness, Lord Jagannath makes a loud concert with his flute in the groves on the banks of the Yamuna. He is like a bumblebee, tasting the beautiful lotus-like faces of the carved damsels of Raja, and great personalities such as Lakshmi, Shiva, Brahma, Indra, and Ganesha worship his lotus feet. May their Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. In his left hand, Lord Jagannath holds a flute. On his head, he wears peacock feathers. On his lips, he wears fine yellow silken cloth. From the corners of his eyes, he bestows sidelong glances upon his loving devotees. And he always reveals himself through his pastimes in his divine abode of Vrindavan. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. On the shore of the great ocean, within large palace atop the brilliant golden Nilachal hill, Lord Jagannath resides with his powerful brother Balbhadra and his sister Subhadra, who sits between them. May that Jagannath Swami, who bestows the opportunity for devotional service upon all godly souls, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannath is an ocean of mercy and as beautiful as a row of blackish rain clouds. He is the storehouse of bliss for Lakshmi and Saraswati, and his face resembles a spotless, full-blown lotus. The best of demigods and sages worship him, and the Upanishad sings his glories. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. When Lord Jagannath moves along the road on his Rath Yatra car, at every step large assemblies of Brahmanas loudly chant prayers and sing songs for his pleasure. Hearing their hymns, Lord Jagannath becomes very favorably disposed towards them. He is the ocean of mercy and the true friend of all the worlds. May the Jagannath Swami, along with his consort Lakshmi, who was born from the ocean of nectar, be the object of my vision. Lord Jagannath, whose eyes resemble full-blown lotus petals, is the ornament on Lord Brahma's head. He resides on Nilachal hill with his lotus feet placed on the heads of Anantadeva. Overwhelmed by the mellows of love, he joyfully embraces Srimati Radharani's body, which is like a cool pond. May the Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. I do not pray for a kingdom, nor do I pray for gold, rubies, or wealth. I do not ask for a beautiful wife as desired by all men. I simply pray that Jagannath Swami, whose glories Lord Shiva always sings, may be the constant object of my vision. O Lord of the demigods, please quickly remove this useless material existence I am undergoing. O Lord of the Yadus, please destroy this vast, shoreless ocean of sins. Alas, this is certain Lord Jagannath bestows his lotus feet upon those who feel themselves fallen and have no shelter in this world but him. May that Jagannath Swami be the object of my vision. Shri Jagannath Ashtakam ki. Verse. The self-restrained, virtuous soul who recites these 8 verses glorifying Lord Jagannath becomes cleansed of all sins and duly proceeds to Lord Vishnu's abode.
So what happens is that towards the end, there is a phalashruti. This is phalashruti. Phalashruti means that the fruit or the benefit that one gets by chanting or by, actually there is a phalashruti in the Bhagavatam also, that this will destroy sins, it will remove lust or some particular anartha. That's how the scriptures are worked out. So this also, anybody who chants, then what is promised is that one can be relieved from all sinful reactions and he can go to Shri Vaikuntha Dham. How many of you would like to go there? So please chant. कदाचित्कालिन्दीपटविपिन Rama Shambhu Brahmarapati Ganeshwarchita Pado Ramaya Jagannath Swami Baba मुझे सवेरे शिरसि शिखि पीछं कदिनाटे मुझे दुकूलं नेत्रान्ते सहचर कटाक्षं विदधाते सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनवासदि लीला परिचय सदा श्रीमद्वृन्दावनवासदि लीला परिचय जगन्नाथ स्वामी वसन् प्रसादान्त सहजमन भद्रेण मणिना सुभद्रमध्यस्थं सकलसुर सेवा सर्गो सुभद्रमध्यस्थं Jagannath Swami Baba Tumre Kripa Parvara Sajana Jana Rakshre Ruchiro Ramavane Rama Suraramala Pankeruhamukha Surendra Raja Shruti Rasi Kagita Charito Surendra Raja Shruti Jagannath Swami Baba Tumre Ratharudho Gachanpati Lita Bhudeva Padale Stuti Pradurbhavam Pratipadamupakaya Sadaya Daya Sindurbango Sakala Jaya Tam Sindhu Sutaya Daya Sindurbango Sakala Jaya Tam Sindhu Jagannath Swami Baba Tumre Para Brahma Pira Kuvalayana Lotsula Nano Para Brahma Pira Kuvalayana Nivasini Landro Nihita Charanodanta Shivasi Rasanandira Jagannath Swami Baba Tumre Navaya Charandyam Chakaraka Manikya नयाक्षिहं रम्यं सकल जनकाम्यं वरवधूम् सदा काले काले प्रमदापतिरागीत चरितो सदा काले काले जगन्नाथ स्वामी भवतु हरत्वं संसारं भूततरमसारं सुरपाद हरत्वं पापनं विततिमपरं यादव पाते योगिन राधे नीत चरणो निश्चितमिन्द्र योगिन राधे नीत चरणो निश्चितमिन्द्र जगन्नाथ स्वामी भवतु जगन्नाथ स्वामी भवतु जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सागरा मिलिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणी हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome all of you for the Saturday evening class. And today's we are going to discuss today about Lord Jagannath. Now, last year at this time, I was asked to give this class, and how many of you were there at this for this, or you have some faint recollection? Actually, most were there. I'm sure you don't remember. So, I'm not going to. I'm not going to do the recap. You guys have to do the recap. I've got fresh content this time. So, actually, these stories are very common, very famous. You must have heard of this so many times of how the Lord appears. So, somebody would like to share from your recollection of how the Lord appears. In short, just 1 minute. Somebody like to share, please. Yes, Madhav. Yes, the Lord appears. Very true. Yeah, that the Lord appears whenever He wants to. He's independent to choose whenever He wants to come. True. Now, I'm referring particularly to how the Lord appears as Jagannath. You remember this story? There are in this story there are actually. I'm talking about the King Indradimna story. Yes, Chantivardhan Prabhu, could you throw some light on King Indradimna story?
King Indra heard about this some divine forest and divine mountain where Lord Neem was residing. So he was very eager to know about the Lord. And then he sent on a mission this minister Vishwas to the to search for the Lord. And then Vishwas goes there and with the tribes he stays for a while. And the king of the tribes he had a daughter and he married that daughter. And they have secretly they were worshipping Lord Neem. So then he wanted to go there, but the king of the tribe that says that there is a condition you should be blindfolded when you go there. So, but he is very smart, so he put some sesame seeds on the way, and this is how he knows the way. But when they reach there, they find that not only Madhav is not there. They come back, and she was to come back and give this news to the King Indradu, and then King Indradu was lamenting a lot. But then Lord comes and says, "Don't worry, there is a log of wood which is coming on the ocean shore, and then I will appear through that." Then the log of wood appear on the same day as was spoken in the dream, and then one divine architect, engineer comes, Vishwakarma comes to make the deities out of that. But then the architect said that don't open the door for like 18 days. Before that, don't open the door. But then one day, after 15 days, this voice stopped coming of the carving, and then the wife of the king became very anxious, and then the king opened the door and found this unfinished deities of the Lord, and then he was lamenting, "Oh, I disrupted the work of deities carving," and then he was lamenting. But then again, he got a dream that actually this is the form that I wanted to give darshan. The Lord says like that, and this is how.
Thank you so much, Chantivardhan Prabhu. Let's show our appreciation. The whole story in 2 minutes. There was Vidyapati was the minister of King Indradyumna who was entrusted with the task of finding this deity of Nila Madhava. This form of the Lord was of like a blue sapphire. So it was very when King Dardimna heard about this, he developed a very strong desire to have this darshan, and he also heard this was on Nilachal mountain. So then he sends Vidyapati, but he doesn't know the way. Who befriends Vishwavasu, who was the king of the tribes, and then the Vishwavasu takes Vidyapati there, only to. I mean, he sees the very beautiful form of the Lord. Vidyapati is completely awestruck. Darshan of the Lord can do something like that. How many of you have taken darshan of Radha Rasbihari and have you felt awestruck completely? You feel like this is something very special. Yeah, it happens. Especially with Srila Prabhupada's deities, this happens a lot. Wherever Srila Prabhupada is installed deities, like if you go to Vrindavan, you see Radha Shyam Sundar and Krishna Balram. Go to Mayapur, to completely you'll feel it is out of the world. Radha Madhav Ashta Sakhis, life size, so extraordinary. Nrsingadev. These deities have so much of power. One of the reasons why there is so much of potency in the temple and in the deities, especially we find the way in which the Prabhupada has established the Archan Padati, is because there is so much of love and devotion and offerings uh, that are made regularly. So then the deity reciprocates like that. You see, the Lord, he is present even if there is pran pratishtha done. The pran pratishtha is a regular procedure, so that is done in other sampradayas also. But at least in my experience, I have seen that even in other this kind of intensity is not there. The kind of intensity is there in like Radharas Bihari you will find, and you find in many other temples like that. So that kind of energy is because that much offering is given. Lord is therefore he is that much he is present. So we can, that's how we understand the potency is there, the shakti is there, and that has such an impact. That's why so many people are drawn again and again, they want to come. Like even Tirupati you go to, how many of you have been to Tirupati down south? So there also it's like that, just few seconds, you hardly get, if you are lucky you get more than 5-10 seconds if you are lucky. Otherwise it is, you'll get pushed. The line is like that, you get pushed. If you there also that intensity is there. You kind of, you take darshan and you feel something is different. you know uh, this Early this year I had that opportunity to go to even Ram temple at Ayodhya, the new temple. How many of you have been there? Ayodhya, very few have been. There also I was, for me it was astonishing because considering this principle that how much we offer to the deity, that much he reciprocates back. Ayodhya is still newly, it is established, but the potency of the dham is also there. And so when we went to Ayodhya, we had taken Gurukul boys also with us. And it was when we reached there, that was the time, Kumbh Mela time. So there was a lot of crowd, even in Ayodhya, there was a lot of crowd. So when we went into the line, then we got completely squashed, like our local trains, how we get. So, and even, so all these boys were there with me, 12 years old, 13 years old, and they are short. They got completely squashed. I thought these Western boys, they'll have a bad experience, and they'll give bad feedback also. So I thought like this, but then they made that nicely. But when you take darshan of that form of Ram Lala, it's very very amazing. That power is there, Shakti is there. Because as soon as we came out, I was able to see that all these boys. I took feedback. What did you? The boys were transformed. They looked different. They looked blissed out. So fried out. People get fried out. People get freaked out, and many times after darshan, you get blissed out. And if your japa is nice, also you get blissed out. Mhm. So that kind of experience is there. So darshan, that's why darshan has a power. That's why this, what we sing, Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Bhavatum. It means that, my dear Lord Jagannath, please give me the eyes by which I can see you. Darshan. How will we see Krishna? When Mahaprabhu is seeing Jagannath, he is seeing Sham Sundar form of the Lord. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is looking at Lord Darshan, his darshan is completely different. Actually, the more Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti Yamasham Sundara Machintya Gunaswarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So Krishna is to be seen with the ointment of love. That's how we see him. So the intensity with which we chant Hare Krishna, we are following and practicing, that much we have that realization of Krishna. That much. So last week we were in Dubai and we were in a program. So some new people we were meeting who are not so, who may, you can say, they're not the ones who are going to come to the temple regularly, like how we have this assembly here. So then one of them asked, he asked one of our devotees that, have you seen Krishna? He asked like that, have you seen God? So then it was Yaduraj Prabhu, he was asked, and then he said that in my experience, yes, I've had that much of realization and experience that Krishna is a person and he exists. And that kind of completely silenced them, in the sense that they were not coming challengingly, but they didn't know what to say after this. Somebody says he's seen God, so then what now? वो क्या बोलेंगे अभी? The only thing is that if you want to see, then you have to do what I say. So this is the whole idea, is that we can see Krishna with the ointment of love, and the ointment of love develops when we are purified. So that's why we are performing this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So this is such a crucial thing to commit ourselves to the process, even though our mind doesn't want to do it all the time. It's a medicine, and if you don't see the material fever reducing, then you know what to do. Increase the dose. Increase the dose. जितना ज़्यादा जप करेंगे. So one time, you do some, you do something repeatedly when you have a taste for it, when you like, like many of us have a lot of taste for watching reels, shorts and reels. A lot of taste we have because it's fast, quick, and you just keep swiping. It's very addictive. We get taste for sugar also. You're going to take again and again. So when you have taste for something, then you want to do it again or you want to consume it again. That's how taste works. So then once Ainda Prabhu was asked, how do we increase our taste in chanting? Because we know we want to chant, we have to chant, but it's difficult because there is hardly any taste. How many of you feel like that? Less taste. Right? Because if there was taste, then the mind would not go 100 places. When you are enjoying an object, then it's like this. When you are eating your favorite dish, that time does your mind get distracted? It's not even a question. It's no question because you like it. The mind is absorbed. We're engrossed in it. That's taste. That's what it. So, but when we chant Hare Krishna, that time you start thinking of every single thing under the sun except the holy names, isn't it? Everything. Oh, mind. You start. The mind goes in all different directions. And one time I was told that when you get reminded of something during japa time, then you write it down. Then what happened is that my seniors had to stop. They told me stop doing because what I was doing, I started writing, but then that whole 1 hour went in writing. So many things, remember, and all good ideas. Whole day you'll not get such good ideas during japa time only. Those thoughts don't come another time in the day. This japa time is like such nice ideas come. So this is how, because taste is not there. So then when Ayendra Prabhu was asked, how do you develop taste for chanting? So, what he replied? Anybody knows what he replied? Because he used to chant so much. He was a great personality who started the 24-hour Kirtan in Vrindavan, and he started the Kirtan Melas. He started the 24-hour, not only the 24-hour Kirtan department in Vrindavan Dham, but also the serious chanting of the holy names, before which ISKCON chanting in ISKCON used to be like doing Harinam on the street. But in the temple, chanting fixed sitting, and everybody's just focused on the holy name. That he started. So he was asked because whole life he dedicated 24 years. He was sitting in Krishna Balram Temple Hall and chanting. Now also, if you go to Vrindavan, you'll see a plaque they've kept there. They've written that 24. This is dedicated to Indra Prabhu, who gave so many years of his life for this establishment of this 24-hour Kirtan department. So for many years he did this, and they have this in 24-hour Kirtan. They have these shifts. So many hours they shift, they chant. That's all. The service is that much only to sing, to chant. And when the person comes in new, sometimes you think you sing because people are coming, they'll hear me, they'll watch me. Okay, I'm such a good singer, etc., etc. But then when the new person joins, then they are given night shift. First thing, you are given night shift. Koi nahi hota hai, not a soul. So it is they get the shift from 12 to 3. कोई नहीं रहता है वहां पर. Only you and the Lord. That door is also closed. So you have to just, and Vrindavan, how cold it is and how hot it is, both sides. So that austerity. So Indra Prabhu, when he was asked how, so he did that for so many years, which is an extraordinary accomplishment for somebody who could just chant. And he was not from India. He was a New Yorker. He was a New Yorker who joined ISKCON in the early 70s, and then in 84 he shifted to Vrindavan because he knew that Srila Prabhupada had established his 24-hour Kirtan department. He wanted that there would be devotees always in performing Kirtan in the temple all the time, perpetually. It goes on. So, and nobody was there. When the Vrindavan temple opened, that time they had some devotees here and there, but later on it was very austere in the 70s. Hardly anybody stayed. So then what to do? So then they were employing also paid kirtaniyas also to come, but nobody lasted. Well, Indra Prabhu took it up that yes, my guru wanted it, so let me take that order. So 84 he shifted, and then entire life till the time 2010 he left. So till then he was always chanting Uh, he was always there as a fixed person, never left, never wanting to leave Vrindavan Dham. So he was asked, how come so much chanting? Not only kirtan, he was also chanting, his own quota of 2 lakh, 3 lakh holy names every day. He used to do 2 to 3 lakh. He used to do so many rounds every day, 64 rounds plus every day, eating one meal a day. So that kind of extraordinary taste he developed. So he was asked, for us, you see how difficult it is. 16 rounds also is a very big challenge, isn't it? And he was asked, so how come you develop a taste? So how do we develop taste? So he said, by doing it. You develop taste by doing it. So because you see, this is a purification. The means and the end are the same. That means the means is you get purified, we develop love for Krishna by chanting, and chanting will lead to more chanting. So you'll see as we advance, then you want to chant more. Then you want to take association of devotees. That's how we measure whether we are progressing or not. Right? Whether I want to whether I want to chant more, whether I want to take more association, whether I want to hear more, so like that. Then you can see that yes, the process is working. So as we advance in this process, then what happens is that we get the eyes to see Krishna. That's the way to see him. So what happens with Vidyapati is that he takes his darshan of Nila Madhava. He has an awestruck moment. He goes back to King Indradyumna, and along with their entire entourage, they land there at Nilachal Hill to satisfy King Indradyumna's desire of having darshan of Nila Madhava. When they reach there, he lands up at the spot with King Indradyumna, who who lands up with King Indradyumna. Come on, pay attention. Vidyapati lands up there. He sees, and what do they see? They don't see Nilamadhav. He's disappeared. The deity is disappeared. King Indradyumna, he feels that life is useless now. I didn't get darshan of Nilamadhava, whom I was desiring for such a long time. So he feels that he should end his life. And then the Akashwani happens, wherein he says that I'm going to come very soon in my form as Daru Brahma, which means wood. My form as wood. And then it was also mentioned that 3 logs of wood will come along the seashore, and there will be an architect who will come, who is actually Vishwakarma, who is the architect of the demigods. So he will sculpt these forms of mine. So then, following this advice, King Indradyumna, he gives, the architect also comes miraculously, and as it was prophesied, even the logs of wood also appear there. And then the carving starts, and then you can see, okay, these images also you can see. The first one is Nilamadhava on the top left, and the bottom left is Vidyapati with King Indradyumna, who's he's telling him about the deity Nilamadhava, and then King Indradyumna, he gives uh, he gives that freedom to Vishwakarma, to the architect, to the sculptor, to prepare the forms of the Lord. So he prepares, but then the condition was that for 3 weeks, nobody should be allowed to enter. If somebody does, or you disturb me, or you open the door, then I'm leaving. So then, for 2 weeks, then he hears the sound coming, tuck, 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 tuck. The sound is coming, and so he just by hearing that, King Indradyumna and his wife Gundicha Devi, they're happy to hear the sound. But then after 2 weeks, it suddenly stops, and then he is restless, cannot control himself, and then he opens the doors, and that's the scene here. He opens the doors to see these unfinished forms of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra. Again, King Indradyumna feels very despondent. He feels that what is the use? My life is useless. I couldn't get Nilamadhav's darshan. Again, I did not. And then there is another voice in the sky who says, this is my eternal form as Lord Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra. In this form, I am very merciful, and I am giving out mercy very freely to the devotees. This is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. So King Indradyumna, he feels somewhat satiated. He feels happy, and then these forms of Lord Jagannath and Baldev Subhadra. This story is of Satyuga, and then they were established like this on this planet. This is how they were established. King Indradyumna also requested the Lord that you give out freely your mercy in the form of Mahaprasadam. And so Jagannath Mahaprasad is very, very special. 3 things that never get contaminated. Who knows? 3 things that never get contaminated. This is the Vaishnav things that never get contaminated. One is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Never contaminated. That means even if you go in the toilet, if you chant, no problem. That's not the same with other Vedic mantras. That's not allowed. But Hare Krishna Mahamantra, no problem. Even while one is passing motion, etc., whatever, no problem. Chanting Hare Krishna, there are no hard and fast rules. That much, it never gets contaminated. Neither is there any offense or anything, even if one is. In fact, it is advised to chant all the time. So that's one. Second is, it's Braj Raj, the dust of Braj, never gets contaminated. And the third is Jagannath Mahaprasad. Jagannath Mahaprasad never cannot get contaminated. That means that even if somebody, say, suppose a dog, for example, he eats something. Okay, so normally we would consider this is contaminated, but not with Jagannath Mahaprasad. So that kind of that even if, okay, for example, something falls in the gutter, etc. If we consider it, that's not Jagannath Mahaprasad, not contaminated, right? Only contamination is in our mentality that we need to get out of. So this is very special, Jagannath Mahaprasad. So that's how the Lord appears, and this story happens in Satyuga. Then in Treta Yuga, there is another story wherein the gopis, they all assemble at Kurukshetra. When in Kurukshetra, Kurukshetra was a holy place. It was not just a battlefield. That happened later on, but before that, this Kurukshetra was a holy place wherein for pilgrimage, and especially during when there was an eclipse, etc., it used to be considered to be very pious. King Kuru had asked those boons. Anybody comes there, they should get delivered. So then they come there during the eclipse. Who comes there? So the Brajvasis also come, and the Dwarkavasis also come. So Krishna, he's Dwarkadhish, along with his 16,108 wives. So he comes with all of them, and this is a very extraordinary meeting, because the Brajvasis, they never left Braj, but they left this time because Krishna was going to come. So they come out of Vrindavan to meet Krishna here. And the other personalities there present are all the Dwarkavasis. That means there Vasudev is there, Devaki is there, Ma Rohini is there, Krishna's wives, all of them are there, and then Balram also, of course. And Vrajavasis, including the gopis, Nanda Baba, Yashodama, all of them are there. They all come face to face, and they're not able to recognize Krishna because they know Krishna is their Sham Sundar. So then, during this meeting, then they meet Krishna separately. The gopis, they meet Krishna separately, and then the gopis say, "You are that same Krishna. We are the same gopis." Radharani says, "I am that same Radharani." But it's not the same. Where is the ecstasy? Where is Vrindavan? Without Vrindavan, how can there be ecstasy? So you come with us to Vrindavan. So Krishna was sitting on his chariot. The gopis take the Rath and they pull him towards Vrindavan. That is Rath Yatra. So pulling of Krishna from Dwarka, Kurukshetra represents Dwarka because it's the mood is Dwarka, Krishna is Dwarkadish. So they want to pull him back to Vrindavan. So that is the Rath Yatra. That's how it started. And the forms of Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra, why are they like this? This is the Lord's extraordinary mercy, because he is in so much of ecstasy seeing his devotees. His pupils dilate, hands and legs go inside. And there is another Treta Yuga story of how this happens. That Ma Rohini was once requested by all the wives of Krishna, who said that Krishna is sleeping with us in his palace, but suddenly in the middle of the night he'll wake up and he will say, "Hey Radhe," he will say, "Gopi," like that he will say, "Vrindavan," like that he will say. What is so special that happened during that time that he is with us? Still he is remembering what all happened that time. What was so special? Because the only person who was present during Braj Leela, who was there in Dwarka at that time, was Ma Rohini. So then all the queens of Krishna headed by Rukmini Devi, they go to Ma Rohini and ask her, "So why? What was there so special? So please tell us the stories. Please tell us the pastimes." So then Ma Rohini says, "But if I tell you, and if Krishna hears, if Krishna Balram, if they hear, then they'll leave here and they'll go run to Vrindavan." So then they decided that, okay, outside the assembly hall, we'll close the doors and we'll put somebody on guard. So they put Subhadra Devi on guard. So as not to allow Krishna and Balram to come inside. Especially they didn't want Krishna to hear, because if he would hear his Vrindavan Leelas, the sweet pastimes that he had with the Gopas, with the Gopis, he would run away. That's what Maharani feared. And certainly all the queens also didn't want that. So they put Subhadra Maya on guard, and everyone else was hearing with rapt attention to Subhadra Maya's retelling of Krishna's pastimes. But what happened was at that time, then Krishna and Balaram both arrive on the spot. They arrive there at the gate, and Subhadra Devi does not allow them to come inside. But then all three of them are hearing. Standing outside, they are hearing. Good sound system. They were able to hear the pastimes. And when they heard, so they felt so much of ecstasy, so much of bliss. Hearing of Krishna's pastimes is very blissful. Have you experienced that? Yes. How many of you have experienced Krishna's pastimes is blissful? Gramya Katha is not blissful. That means you talk about somebody else. We call ordinary terms, we call it gossip, which most people love in this world. But it doesn't satisfy. You do it, but it doesn't satisfy. It doesn't give any kind of bliss. Maybe for a few seconds you feel I'm better than him, or I am better than him or her. When we put somebody else down, a few seconds you feel, but it's not satisfying at all. But when you hear Krishna Katha, when you speak, it is very tasty. It is very nectarian. One Srila Prabhupada was once. One Srila Prabhupada said, "Mango is the king of fruits." He said, "Mango is so sweet." How many of you believe this? Who agree? This mango. And then after that, he paused and said, "But preaching is sweeter than the sweetest mango." Speak about Krishna, it is sweeter than the sweetest mango. How many of you believe that? You have to, if you preach that, if we somehow make our lives in such a way that we tell Krishna, tell about Krishna to others, it is very sweet, it's very nectarian. Sometimes people say that our relatives don't listen to us. You talk to your children, for example, or parents or relatives, they don't listen to you. Yeah, so you don't tell them, go and tell those who will hear from you. That's the answer. If I tell my parents, they'll not listen, but all of you are. So it's like that. You have to go and tell people who because there are always, actually everyone is thirsty for this. When we were there last week in Dubai, we found that in these Muslim countries, especially the pious Hindus who are there, they're all thirsty. Wait, whatever we are saying, they're accepting. I never experienced like this, that you go to a rich man and people are intelligent. That's why they're rich, and then they have their views and opinions. I remember once we had, this Hawkins cooker. So the CEO was here in Jew. I remember going to him and I just started telling something about ISKCON or some, cut me off immediately, and he started giving his own idea about the whole thing. So I found that people have their, especially rich, successful people, they're intelligent. They have their own views. They don't want to listen. But here we found that rich, successful people, they're full ears, all ears to whatever we have to say. And why? Because they're thirsty. They don't get spiritual knowledge. They don't get any kind of spiritual experience at all, especially in countries that are wherein this openness is not there. And this happens especially in this kind of theocratic countries, because we met our god brother who was from Pakistan. He was Sindhi, but he was brought up in Pakistan, and there he was doing so much of nice preaching. He uh, he, he worked in Dubai. He earned some money, and he basically bought a center for ISKCON in Pakistan. Sometimes we are so anti-Pakistan. No, that's the Indian narrative, anti-Pakistan. 45 lakh Hindus are also there. ISKCON, 2 temples under construction, 12 centers are there in Pakistan also. In Sindh province, not so much. Punjab is finished. They say that no Hindus in Punjab. It was saying some Hindus in Baluchistan, but mostly in Sindh they are there. ISKCON's preaching. Rath Yatra, they're going to have Rath Yatra this week also. So stop wishing bad for Pakistan. That's one lesson. Devotees are that side also. So the thing was this, that he was saying so difficult it was. What really touched me, he was saying that he said that there was a time there was no kantimalas in the country. No, can you imagine? No kantimalas. He was saying bead bags were a luxury for us when we were growing up. He said that his wife told us that in her programs, this was not very this recent 10, 15 years they're talking about, that when they were growing up in their Krishna conscious life, while attending programs like this, congregation programs, first they don't have a temple, it has to all be underground. And then when they used to attend, then somebody had a bead bag with Krishna's print on it. That was something they were showing off. There was one Prabhu who got a bead bag of Krishna's print on the bead bag. He was showing off because his relative sent it from Vrindavan. Somehow they sent. So he got it and he was showing off because that was never seen. They could not imagine that this also is possible. How fortunate we are, isn't it? You don't have to worry about these things. He was saying no vegetarian restaurants in Pakistan. No vegetarian restaurants. So all Hindus also have to eat meat. There's no option. So when ISKCON is preaching and devotees are preaching, they're making other people into devotees. Then they understand vegetarianism and they're practicing. But it's all indoors. They have to eat indoors only. There's no option. How difficult would it be to practice? Acha, more than anything else, they don't get visas to come here. What mistake did those devotees make to be born in that country? That they can't go to Vrindavan and Mayapur. For us, it's a ticket away. इतना बोलते हैं, फिर भी हम सोचते हैं 2 बार. यात्रा आती है, इतना फॉलो अप करते हैं, आओ 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 करके. उधर जाते हैं, तभी भी बोलते हैं, be in a good mood, be in good. उधर भी we want to have a nice time. Look at these devotees who for them they're thirsty. Vrindavan, Mayapur. In so many years, that devotee hadn't even been to Mayapur because when they get visas, they get for particular cities. They're supposed to give a list of 4 or 5 places they can visit, and that's it. They don't get to visit like that. So when he was speaking these things, I said, "My God, what kind of upbringing is that? So much hankering then you develop. Actually, they are more advanced, than us. More advanced because they're really wanting. And so when devotees come, such devotees who know the value of Bhakta Sangha, who know the value of association. So for them, it's like they really take it. So when we met this Prabhu, he was like full. How nicely he hosted us. He was did whatever was possible to serve, isn't it? That's what he did. Whatever was possible for him, taking leaves, arranging prasada, everything he did because they don't get association. So it's such a rarity for them. And just we get, and we sometimes we are forgetful of the good fortune we have, isn't it? When you see somebody who's deprived, like he was saying, last year Guru Maharaj left and he wanted to come to India. It's not allowed. Visas that time also. Visas were not there, so couldn't come. So they have so much desire to come and visit the Samadhi, visit Vrindavan, but can't. So, to me, it seems that they are so far yet so near. We are so near yet so far. Because we for us actually this I found even in many devotees who live in Mayapur also, those who live in India, for them from who are from abroad. So for them, when they live in this country, they live here because of spiritual life. They live because they know. Like Srila Prabhupada said, he said, for spiritual life, the sun shines brighter in India. He said like that to devotees who were planning where to stay, US or here. So said like that. So these devotees who stay in the country for spiritual life, just for advancing in spiritual life. So for them, it's a lot of austerity, a lot of arrangements have to be done. A lot of leaving their country, leaving home, leaving a lot of facility, hardly any source of income, but they do that so that they can get a great experience. And you can see all of this. You can witness it firsthand when you come to Vrindavan and Mayapur, and you see there are many devotees there. Some are visiting, but there are some also who are residing there, who are trying to reside. And if you hear their stories also, you realize that really dedication is there. So in our case, we sometimes taking from, they say wise people learn from their own experiences and mistakes. Wiser people learn from others also. So when we look at others, we should relate that, see how much nice opportunity we have. Still, we don't take it seriously. So we should do that. We should take it seriously because it's an opportunity. Surrendering is a privilege, actually, the knowledge of surrendering. So coming back to Jagannath, so Rath Yatra, they're having Rath Yatra even in these Middle Eastern countries also they have, but it's all gated. They're not allowed to do anything public. It's within the gates of whatever program you're having in whichever place they're allowed. They can't do public. Now how we do now. You see, Rath Yatras will be so many Rath Yatras will be there in the next few days. And what we do, the pura traffic jam kar dete hum. We go and the whole we act as if our street is ours only. So that's how we function. And it's fine because then everybody understands because we are in India. But you can't do this everywhere. So this is some privilege. So these were some reflections, when we went, we realized we are really privileged. So when you have something which others don't have, then you start understanding that the value of it. Otherwise, we start realizing only when it is taken away. So we should not come to that point wherein it is taken away. Because that is why the Shastras say, na, human birth, Bharat Varsha birth. Again and again it is mentioned that anybody who is born on this land is fortunate. So much piety is there in the land. And in today's day, I mean, now you shouldn't have any kind of fear to even promote or propagate that you are a practicing Krishna conscious devotee. Now we should not have it because everything is so much in favor now. This is not how it was earlier. Now it's very much in favor. Not only what the government has done, but in general, times have changed so much that being a representative of Sanatan culture is just it's a thing of pride actually. And just like a policeman, he wears his uniform, and there are plain clothes police also who don't dress up like policemen, but those who do, they have a different aura. They know it, and others also know it, and everybody behaves in the way because uniform has an impact. Likewise, dhoti kurta, saris with tilak, kantimala, it has an impact on people around. And we have to, the biggest person whom we need to preach is our own mind, our own self. So, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says that after all of this, if you're able to make one devotee, your life is a success. And you know who that one devotee is? Your own self. Yes, our own selves. If we are able to preach to our own self, that is a success. So these are some thoughts on taking things a little seriously. So Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. So what happens is that again in Treta Yuga, so Ma Rohini is speaking the katha, and Krishna, Balram, and Subhadra Devi, they are listening outside. And when they listen to these special pastimes, then what happens is that their eyes become wide, and their body, the hands and feet of their body, they go inside. They go inside the body, they shrink. And these are the forms of Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra. And Narad Muni comes there on the spot, and he says, "Oh, my dear Lord, such a beautiful form of yours, so merciful." Because Krishna is experiencing ecstasy. Just like when you want something from a superior, first you have to check their mood, isn't it? Mood kaisa hai? If mood is not good, then you don't better mention it. So why do we do that? Because you want something, you want some favor, you have some desire which you want them to fulfill. So if they're happy, then you know that in that happiness they will give. Uh, so that way, that's why we also worship acharyas on their appearance day, disappearance day, because they're very specially merciful on those days, appearances and disappear. So therefore, we observe. We do fasting till noon. Fasting till sunset is there sometimes. It's for this, for acharyas, for the Lord's forms, so that we get some mercy. So then, this Jagannath, he is that happy. He's the Lord who is very happy. So then, that's why Narad Muni asks that, give me a boon then. So then, Lord says what? He says that, uh, please give this mercy of yours to all the suffering souls in Kali Yuga. And then the Lord says yes. So therefore, in Kali Yuga, amongst all the holy places, then Jagannath Puri has special significance. Vrindavan and Mayapur are not holy places, they are the abode of the Lord, where he resides. But amongst the holy places, Jagannath Puri has very special power, very special potency. Because in Kali Yuga, then the Lord advented in this form so that he could give mercy to one and all. So that's the form of the Lord, Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra, along with Sudarshan. How many of you know pranam mantras for all of them? Pranam mantras for Jagannath. When we offer obeisances, we should chant the pranam mantras of those deities. That's the way we greet in their language. That's like we greet somebody good morning, good afternoon. Devotees, we greet Hare Krishna. So that's a greeting. So in the same way, when we greet the deities, we greet with their pranam mantra. So most of you know the pranam mantras, like we were chanting in the Mangalacharan. You know about Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, Radharani, with these pranam mantras are there. Everyone should learn that much effort. This is all bhakti. The efforts that we put in our devotional life to please the Lord, that is all bhakti. So there is a nice pranam mantra for Lord Jagannath. You can repeat after me. Nilachala Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Balabhadra Subhadrabhyam Jagannathaya Te Namaha. Nilachala Nivasaya, the one who resides eternally on Nilachala hill. Nityaya Paramatman is eternally present in the heart as the super soul. Balabhadra, along with his brother Balabhadra, that means Balaramji and Subhadra, I offer my obeisances to Lord Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. That's the meaning of this. So we should know this pranam mantra. At least this is the most basic one, wherein you can uh, greet all of them together. So this is Jagannath, Baldev, and Subhadra. So this is their form, who resides eternally in Puri Dham. And the Ratha Yatra is basically the festival wherein the Lord is taken from his temple, which is a Shri Mandir. How many of you have been to Puri? Jagannath Puri Dham? Most of us have. Very nice. For those who have not, please stay tuned till the next Yatra is announced to Jagannath Puri. Very special place. Or not only special because of the presence of Lord Jagannath, it is also special because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he decided to reside there for a good portion of his manifest presence on this planet. So it's more special also. Because Mahaprabhu, 500 years ago, just 500 years ago, he was there. How many of you have been to Gambhira? Gambhira, Jagannath Puri. Gambhira, Kashi Mishra's house, such a special place. There you will find Mahaprabhu's Kamandalu is there, his Sannyas Danda is there, his Padukas are there. So close you can go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have his personal items are there. Kashi Mishra's house, Gambhira. In that house, you will find actually in those inner doors, inner sanctum of that house, Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, experienced the purpose for which he came on this planet, which was to taste the Bhakti Rasa that Srimati Radharani was tasting. He experienced that in that house. It was confined because Mahaprabhu had actually, the Ashtasatvika Vikaras had become so out of control. They were afraid, the devotees of Mahaprabhu, his followers, they were afraid of allowing him to be around because they didn't know he would get lost or what would happen to him. So they just kept him in the confines of that house, Gambhira, such a special place. Even Siddha Bakul is there, where Haridas Thakur, he stayed there at Siddha Bakul. Mahaprabhu, he felt that taking darshan of Haridas Thakur was more important. Feeding Haridas Thakur was more important than feeding thousands of Brahmanas. Mahaprabhu felt like this. Every day, just see how greatness is this holy name. Anybody who chants the holy name becomes so dear to Krishna that Namacharya Haridas Thakur, who was a Muslim by birth, was not allowed to go in the Jagannath temple and he never tried to go also. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, used to go to take his darshan every day. Just because he's chanting every day. That much. That much Mahaprabhu himself glorified. You are Namacharya. He gave him the title Nam Acharya. Acharya means you are the teacher, the leader of the holy name, the exponent of the holy name. That kind of title he gave to Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur also great personality. Mahaprabhu himself put him in samadhi. So that much Krishna values this chanting. So those who are, those who sometimes we have this thing going on in the mind. Should I do? Should I not? The mind slackens. But we should, by these examples, we can take inspiration. So the Ratha Yatra is basically the festival wherein the devotees of the Lord, understanding the mood of the gopis in Vrindavan, following in the footsteps, they pull the Rath of Lord Jagannath from Shri Mandir, which is the representation of Dwarka or Kurukshetra, just like we saw in the last slide, that how the gopis were pulling from Kurukshetra, they want him to come to Vrindavan. So Shri Mandir represents Dwarka or Kurukshetra, and Gundicha Mandir represents Vrindavan, which is, if you go to Puri, on the Grand Road on the other side is the Gundicha Mandir, Gundicha temple. That is the wife of King Indradyumna. That represents Vrindavan. So the whole Rath Yatra procession is basically the Lord comes out to give darshan to his devotees and allows to. He's so merciful. He wants to take darshan of his devotees also. So he comes out. तुम नहीं आ रहे हो मंदिर मैं आता हूँ. That kind of mode. So then the Lord comes out and then he is taken on Raths and then he is pulled to Vrindavan, which is Gundicha Mandir. It's end of the grand road. So that's basically the Rath Yatra procession. Now the Puranas, they give a lot of description of this particular event, saying that anybody who pulls the Ratha, he will not have to take another birth. He will go back home, back to Godhead. Anybody who touches the rope of Jagannath, all the sins are removed of the Rath. That kind of description is given. So that kind of that is the greatness of Jagannath Rath Yatra. And it is actually Srila Prabhupada who established Jagannath Ji all over the world, who was following in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footsteps. So, before Rath Yatra, a day before Rath Yatra is Gundicha Marjanam. Marjan means cleaning of the Gundicha temple. Mahaprabhu himself did it. And he had a whole competition wherein there were groups of devotees wherein they were competing with each other. Who has the biggest pile of dirt? कचरे का ढेर ज्यादा किसका बड़ा है? That kind of competition was there. And Mahaprabhu used to acknowledge the one with the bigger pile because he's done cleaning so nicely. Not only that, Mahaprabhu he took out his own upper cloth and he was cleaning with that. And he actually organized the cleaning in such a way he himself got all the. There is whole chapter Chaitanya Charitamrita, Gundicha Marjan's whole chapter. It's so nice that Mahaprabhu arranged all the devotees to come from the nearby Indradyumna Sarovar. They got buckets of water and then got brooms. Mahaprabhu himself gave brooms to everyone. And they started cleaning. And then for hours they were cleaning. They took out all the dirt, then they took out even the finer particles also. Mahaprabhu instructed them. All the fine particles are there, that also you remove. And this Gundicha Marjan actually represents the cleaning process, the purification process that we need to perform for our own purification, for our own cleaning inside. All these anarthas are there: lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, envy. They get purified when we chant the holy names and when we follow the principles of spiritual life. The four regulative principles, we chant Hare Krishna, we offer our food to Krishna, we serve him. This way we get purified. We hear Bhagavatam, we hear about Krishna consciousness. This purifies us. So that is the process of cleaning, which Mahaprabhu himself, he showed through example and cleaning of the temple, keeping things clean. There is a difference. There is something called Suchi. How many of you are acquainted with this word called Suchi? Suchi? Okay, good. So many are not. So Suchi and Muchi. Okay, this is how we say it. Suchi means it's clean and pure. Muchi means it's not. So it's important to have a Brahminical standard of cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness, they say. So one has to be careful about always keeping oneself externally clean and internally clean. External cleanliness comes through taking bath 2 times a day at least. It comes through wearing fresh, clean clothes. Not that, just like many college students do, they wear a pair of jeans and for 7 days, 8 days, 10 days, they keep it like that. That's not very clean. So this is Suchi. Suchi means what is clean and pure. So it has a direct impact on our consciousness and on our mind. The more we practice these principles of purity. The entire purpose of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Srila Prabhupada's idea was to create Brahmanical culture. That means that the principles of cleanliness are followed, internal as well as external. So internal cleanliness has a lot to do with the mind. And after Gundicha Marjanam, all those devotees who were present with Mahaprabhu, they felt very pure, they felt very peaceful, very satisfied, very blissful. And this is directly related to the fact that they were engaged in a process of cleaning their heart. Cleaning the temple means cleaning the heart. If it is possible for you, then please do come on the day of Gundicha Marjan or go to your nearest ISKCON center. There we follow and practice this Gundicha Marjan. We clean the temple that day. It's a nice experience. Even our senior leaders, everybody cleans. Of course, it's not that only one day a year you clean, whole 364 days you remain unclean. It's not like that. We should clean on a regular basis. But it's the principle of cleanliness, internal as well as external. Internal cleanliness is achieved when we have good, pure thoughts, and that happens by what input we give ourselves. What is that? There is a principle, Giko. What goes in comes out. So it comes out in some way or the other. So if we put what we put in, so if we put in Krishna consciousness, that's what comes out. So like that. So if we follow whatever we watch, whatever we talk, whatever we hear, if this is controlled, if it is pure, then you'll see that the thoughts that come in our mind are also likewise. So Mahaprabhu gives an example. Why? Because how can you put Krishna in a dirty place? Likewise, in our heart, in our consciousness, there is so much of lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, envy. Where is the place for Krishna? Even if somehow we try, where is the place? जगह ही नहीं है, भरा हुआ है. So it has to be purified, and that is the process of pundicha marjanam, or cleaning of the anarthas. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave a very exemplary example of uh, attending and participating in the Rath Yatra. Mahaprabhu himself participated very, very enthusiastically in the Rath Yatra festival, dancing, chanting enthusiastically. In fact, he organized the chanting process also. So he had a lot of these devotees. He organized their kirtan parties. He appointed lead singers. He also appointed mridanga players, and he also appointed chorus singers as well. He appointed those who are going to play kartal. He also appointed dancers. So Mahaprabhu, in this way, he was participating in the Rath Yatra. King Prataparudra, from the temple, from the palace balcony, he was seeing Mahaprabhu dancing and being present in all the kirtan parties at one time, same time. इधर भी है, उधर भी है, पीछे भी है, आगे भी है, everywhere. He was able to see like this. King Prataparudra. Mahaprabhu expanded himself. Just like Krishna expanded himself in the Ras Leela, and all 16,108 gopis felt Krishna is with me only. But was Krishna with only one gopi? He was with all of them. In the same way, Mahaprabhu expanded himself in all the Kirtan parties, and all Kirtan parties felt Mahaprabhu is with us only. That is the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He can be with everyone. Nobody else can satisfy us the way Krishna can. No other human being can. It's not possible. Because only Krishna can be with us very intimately, as well as be with everyone else also at the same time. So Mahaprabhu, in order to have that loving relationship with Jagannath and to test Jagannath, because see, Krishna in the form of Jagannath, he's wide-eyed, he's in bliss, he's in ecstasy. He wants to reciprocate with his devotees. He's giving out blessings. And who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he's in the mood of Radharani. So this is Radharani. Radharani is looking at Krishna lovingly, and Krishna is looking at Radharani. So that's why it was a heightened ecstasy. Krishna and Radha looking at each other, experiencing and reciprocating love with each other. That's what it was, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath. So Mahaprabhu, he used to sometimes just get out of sight. For some time, he was in all the kirtan parties, then sometimes he used to be at one kirtan party, then sometimes he used to be out of the sight of Lord Jagannath. That means he used to go behind the temple. And Jagannath also used to make the cart wait. The Rath used to suddenly stop, not move. And people are pushing. That time they didn't have brakes or anything. It used to just move, and every devotee understood and accepted that the Rath is moving because Jagannath wants it to move. The Rath has stopped because the Lord wants it to be there. He wants to be there. That's why. So when Mahaprabhu was not visible, that time Jagannath Rath used to stop. Then many times Mahaprabhu used to come ahead, and then the Rath used to start again miraculously. They're pulling same amount of effort, but Rath is stopped. Then sometimes Mahaprabhu used to be behind, Rath has stopped, then he used to push it from behind on his head, with his head. He used to just push it with some force like this. And then the Rath used to start. So this kind of special pastimes were going on between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Jagannath. So Rath Yatra has a very special place in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and therefore for us Gaudiya Vaishnavas also, Rath Yatra is a very special festival. We give out Sukruti, at the same time the Lord is experiencing a different kind of a mellow. Lord Jagannath has some extraordinary pastimes. We may not have time for everything, but maybe a few. This was a very nice pastime that I came across. A love letter to Lord Jagannath. Jayasimha Dev. Jayasimha Dev was the king of Jaipur, and his wife, her name was Chandravati. They happened to be, they were in Jaipur, and they happened to become devotees of Lord Jagannath. They had heard a lot about Lord Jagannath. For a long time, they didn't have a child, and then they were blessed with a daughter, Vishnu Priya, whom they named. And they decided that this Vishnu Priya we will offer at the lotus feet of Lord Jagannath as an offering to Lord Jagannath. We will offer her. Vishnu Priya grew up. They forgot. Now, one time, what happened? Chandravati, Queen Chandravati, fell very sick, and they tried different cures. Nothing was working. She was ill. Then one time, one panda from Puri, one Brahmin from Puri, he came along with some Mahaprasad, Jagannath Mahaprasad. And they gave it to the queen, saying that this is special Jagannath Mahaprasad, you honor it and see your, and then pray to Lord Jagannath for his mercy, and you see the illness will go away. So now they had already tried so much. So they decided, okay, let's try this also. Vishnu Priya was at her bedside. The king was also in anxiety. They helped her honor the Mahaprasad, Queen Chandravati. When Queen Chandravati ate that Mahaprasad, immediately she started feeling better. And then, after a while, she became completely all right. Her health was restored. And all of them felt very happy, and their faith in Lord Jagannath increased manifold. And then they stopped worshipping other demigods, and had only faith in Lord Jagannath. Anybody who came from Puri, they used to give them so much of respect. And they used to also honor Jagannath Mahaprasad. Now one day, one panda from Puri came. He came with some prasad. So then they honored. Now Vishnu Priya, she developed a lot of faith because she saw her mother almost passing away, and then regained her life back because of Lord Jagannath's mercy. Vishnu Priya felt that now what I can give Jagannath? She was thinking, with this Puri Panda, I'll send something back. Now she was a princess, and while contemplating and meditating on what she could send, she thought that Lord Jagannath, he has all the valuable gems. What can I offer him? He is the husband of Goddess Lakshmi. Everybody is praying to Goddess Lakshmi for wealth, but he's Lakshmipati. What can I offer him? He doesn't need anything. Let me write him a letter. So she writes on a leaf. She writes this verse, and this verse uh, she she uses kasturi. She crushes kasturi, and then that's the ink. That's how she writes this. She puts it in a box and then gives it to that panda, and gives one gold coin to the panda that you deliver this from Jaipur to Puri. That's gold coin is for that, and just give this to Lord Jagannath. Offer this to Lord Jagannath. Now this Puri panda, he moved along the way. He went ahead. Then he thought, I wonder what this Princess Vishnupriya has sent for Lord Jagannath. Maybe there may be some valuable jewels. Let me open and see. So he opens and he sees. Much to his disappointment, he sees there are no gems or jewels. It's just one this leaf. So what he does, he says, "What this is for this leaf? She is making me go all the way from here to Puri," and he just throws it. Then traveling, this panda he reaches Puri after many days. And in his dream, Lord Jagannath comes. And Lord Jagannath tells him that you are such an offender. My pure devotee Vishnupriya, she writes me a letter, an offering of love. And what do? In your greed of wanting some gems, you are completely ignorant of her devotional service. And you just threw her offering away. As soon as you threw it, I picked it up. And now tomorrow you come and see in my temple, I have it on my chest. So next, when he wakes up, he goes in the morning and he explains whatever has happened to the other pandas there. And when they all go and see, they see that Lord Jagannath on his chest is having this leaf stuck to him. So they take it out. And what do they read? They read this verse. You can repeat after me. Ratna, uh, रत्नाकारस्तव गृह तव गृहं गृणी च लक्ष्मी किं देयमस्ति भवते पुरुषोत्तमाय अहिरगोपललनारितमानसाय दत्तं मनस्तदनु मे कृपया ग्रहाण. Can someone read, please? Such a sweet verse, isn't it? She says that everything you have, but I want to give you something you don't have. When you left Vrindavan and Mathura, so gopis had stolen your mind. So I'll give my mind to you. So she's offering. This is the way of offering. So this is the story of Vishnupriya and her devotion, which became so famous. Lord Jagannath, he accepts the offerings of love and devotion. There was one pujari, there was one sevak in the Jagannath temple by the name of Sona Mahapatra. Sona Mahapatra's duty was to prepare Chapan Bhog for Lord Jagannath. He used to cook. He was the cook. He used to cook. Then he used to give it to the Brahmins to go and offer it to Lord Jagannath. Now, what he used to do while transferring, then there used to be some particles of the bhoga which used to fall down. It happens in mass cooking, something a little bit. What he used to do, collect all of that and prepare some cake out of that, mixed. Fry it and then prepare some cake. And that he used to come and stand in front of Garuda Stamba. Next to Garuda Stamba, he used to stand in front of Jagannath. And then he used to mentally offer this and then go home and eat it as prasad. He used to do this. The Pandas, the Brahmins used to get very upset and offended, saying that this fellow is thinking that Lord Jagannath is offering this, accepting this offering. He only accepts through our hands. They felt like this and they were telling him, they were ridiculing him also, rebuking him. What is this? You are thinking this is prasad, huh? It's bhoga. You're eating bhoga. So they were rebuking him. They told him also. Couple of times they told him, gave him a warning, stop this. Because it looked very bad that the sevak of the temple is preparing bhoga and then Brahmins are offering, but he's taking something else offering and then taking it as home as prasad. So they felt that he should be stopped. They told him, he didn't listen. He continued this. So then they complained to the king. So the king said, okay, imprison him. So they imprisoned Sona Mahapatra. Sona Mahapatra, now he felt very upset because he lost his service. He felt that now I cannot prepare Chapan Bhog for the Lord which I was making. And then he was praying to Lord Jagannath in the prison. He is praying to Lord Jagannath that, my dear Lord, I did my duty. I was preparing bhoga for you, and then whatever was remaining, I used to offer. But don't you say in Gita that you offer you offer the offerings from your devotees with love and devotion? Don't you say? So while he was praying like this, he fell asleep. And Lord Jagannath, he goes to the king. He goes to the king, and while the king is sleeping in his dream, he tells that I say in Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhakta Prayashati. I am accepting leaf, flower, fruit. I am accepting any offering of my devotees, whatever they offer with love and devotion. That's the ingredient, love and devotion. And here my devotee is offering. What is your problem? I can accept the Chapan Bhog. I can accept this also, and I will set a good example through him. Release him immediately. And that cake that he makes, I like it so much. Make it an official preparation. So then the king comes to the jail, puts a turban on Sona Mahapatra, and tells the whole story. That Lord Jagannath likes your cake so much that now this should be officially a offering. So Sona Mahapatra is so happy that the Lord in this way he accepts and he reciprocates in this way. That preparation is called Chadai Neda. Chadai Neda. It is a preparation out of flour and ghee. Still, it is offered. This is Jagamohan, the place for chanting and dancing for Lord Jagannath's pleasure. There was one devotee called Manidas. Manidas, he out of coconut he made kartals, and he used to play the beat and he used to dance for Jagannath, chant and dance for Jagannath. Both he used to do. Now there are Puri Brahmins there, so he was doing this in the Nat Mandap. If you go in the temple, you will find there is Nat Mandap where there is, and that is the architect. There is the architectural style also. There is a Nat Mandap where there is they perform. They have some performances there. At that time, they used to have Brahmins chanting Puranic stories, or they used to chant the Puranas there, mantras they were chanting. So what happened was that this Manidas, he was one day he started chanting and dancing. He was playing on his kartals and he was chanting and dancing alone. The Brahmins they rebuked him, saying, "Hey, we are chanting. Come on the side. Go on the side. Not here. Go outside." He didn't listen. He was so much absorbed in ecstasy that he was unconscious about it. And Manidas, he fell on the floor. Again, he was chanting and dancing. And the Brahmins got so upset that they asked him to stop. And they rebuked him with so much harsh words that he felt very discouraged. He goes back home, he doesn't eat that night, and he falls asleep praying to Lord Jagannath that I'm just trying to chant and dance for your pleasure. And how is it that now you don't like this? So then the Lord, who is all cognizant, he comes there and he goes to whenever the Lord, it has been seen that whenever the Lord, to the king or to the head pujari or to the priest, he comes in a dream and he instructs them. So many stories are there like this. So the Lord comes to the king and he says that this is going on. This Manidas has been ostracized. I'm not going to eat till the time he eats. So because that day the pujaris were all confused, the Lord is not accepting offerings. Somehow things were getting stuck. So then the king goes and because the Lord tells the king in the dream that my devotee Manidas wants to chant and dance, you give him the Nat Mandap and tell these Brahmins to go outside in the Lakshmi Devi temple and chant. So that then the king makes the announcement next day. He gives Manidas the Nat Mandap, saying this is what Jagannath prefers. So henceforward, then that place was utilized for Nat Mandap until now. Then whatever Brahmins want to chant, then they go and chant in the Lakshmi Devi temple. So that is Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, he also, in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave his mercy to King Prataparudra. Maharaj Prataparudra, the king of Odisha, king of Puri, he happened to. This was during Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. When he saw Mahaprabhu, he also saw Mahaprabhu in so much of ecstasy that there was mud all over his body and also saliva. So he developed some doubts in the first time. The first time when he saw, he developed some doubts. He said, "What is this?" So when he was seeing like this, uh, in his dream, the Lord, this is special mercy of Lord Jagannath. The Lord Jagannath came in his dream, and he's and King Maharaj Prataparudra, he is able to see in the dream Lord Chaitanya. He's seeing Lord Chaitanya covered in mud and saliva. And again, that scene is replaced in his mind, in his dream, wherein he has some doubt, that feeling that he gets that what is going on. Then he sees himself in the dream walking towards Puri and temple, going inside the temple. And then there he sees that Jagannath is also covered in mud. And he doesn't understand. He's confused. He's in illusion. And then when he tries to come closer and see, then he sees that it's not Jagannath. Instead of Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sitting on the Simhasan. King Prataparudra, he sees instead of Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting on the Simhasan. And then again he takes a double take. He sees that again Lord Jagannath is there. Then Jagannath speaks to him. He says, because when Maharaj Prataparudra is coming closer to Jagannath, Jagannath says, "Stop! Don't come near me. I'm covered in mud. It's not for you. You are a royal person. Be away." You don't like me like this, do you? And Maharaj Prataprudra doesn't understand. Then he becomes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he understands that this is the same Jai Gaur, Sai Krishna, Sai Jagannath. He is the same personality. As soon as he understands this, he becomes very, very repentant, Maharaj Prataparudra. And he feels that such a great offender I was, that in my mind I had a doubt that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is somebody else. He is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I had such a doubt. And so he offers continuous prayers. And after that, in this way, Prataparudra had a change of heart. There are so many other stories of Lord Jagannath wherein he interacts and reciprocates with his devotees. Lord Jagannath, there was one Landi Mata. Landi Mata, she felt that Lord Jagannath is my son. She felt that 56 of Chapan Bhog every day, he must be getting a stomach ache. So much ghee, so much sugar, I should give him neem. So then she makes neem paste for him. And she goes in front of the temple wanting to offer that neem paste. Security doesn't allow. Security says, go out. Who asked you? Go out. She becomes very upset. So does Jagannath. And Jagannath, he comes to the king in the dream and tells that I have a stomach ache and I want to taste this neem paste that this Mata has made. How is your security stopping her? Meanwhile, he also goes to Landi Mata and he tells Landi Mata, Mother, I'm having a stomach ache. Where is your neem paste? So Landi Mata becomes very, very pleased. And at the same time, then the king arrives with his entourage and apologizes for the mistake of the security. After that, they start this neem paste offering as a regular offering. Now, not neem paste, but they have certain astringent, bitter tasting preparation, which they give to Lord Jagannath because they feel that he is going to fall sick after eating so much every day. Garva Ganjan Jagannath. There was one proud devotee called Jagat Seth. This is little recent from Hyderabad, and recent means it's say around 100 200 years old, in between that time. Jagat Seth felt he wanted to give big donation. He gave 1,000 rupees that time. It's very big. He said, I want this 1,000 rupees to be utilized in front of me on the same day. He told the pujaris. They said that how much ever we pay, how much ever we buy offerings, there are few paisa worth. We cannot finish off 1,000 rupees in one day. And why is he making such demands? If he wants for Jagannath, then he should allow it to be spent the way we feel it is fit. But Jagat Seth was like that. He wanted. So he was pushing that I'll give this donation, but I want it to be spent. So then the pandas felt, the pujaris felt that let's put this matter to Jagannath, how he wants. So they prayed to him and they discussed the matter to him. And that night, then the head pujari had a dream. And Lord Jagannath tells the head pujari that you tell Jagat Seth that Jagat Seth he should give a pan, and the pan should have a paste of uh, the Gaja Moti. Gaja Moti is one in 1,000 elephants. On his tusk, he has a pearl. So a powder of Gajamoti he wanted in the pan that should be offered to him, and tell this Seth to do it. Jagat Seth. So when Jagat Seth found out, he realized, when Jagat Seth came to know that this is what Lord Jagannath wants me to do, then he said that where will I get this? Where will I get one in 1,000 elephants? And in that also this, he realizes that even if I pay a lot of money, it's not possible to get something like this. Then he realizes this is Lord Jagannath's way of humbling me. Then he had come opulently dressed. He had come very opulently dressed, wanting to make a big show. He removes all his jewels, puts on simple cloth, goes and cleans the temple after this. So in this way, this Garva Ganjan Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath is very personal. And on the day of Rath Yatra, we can pray to the Lord to engage us in his service. Srila Prabhupada, he established Rath Yatra at the age of 5. And what did he do? He had his own, in his community, in his place of residence. He started this Jagannath festival with the permission and with the blessings of his father, with the assistance of his father. He engaged all the community children in this way, engaged in Krishna conscious activities, and they did a real good festival. So Srila Prabhupada in this way was a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. Right from the age of 5, he engaged so many people in Lord Jagannath service. And then he replicated that all around the world. When he took Lord Jagannath's mercy and traveled, and he established Lord Jagannath's temple so many places. The first one being in San Francisco. Srila Prabhupada had a very wonderful disciple called Jayananda Prabhu, who was known as Mr. Rath Yatra. Because Jayanand Prabhu did some extraordinary service for Lord Jagannath. He was there on this planet only till 1976. He left before Srila Prabhupada left. He had cancer. But the amount of service that he did and the way he was dedicated, he was truly a great devotee of Lord Jagannath. He made so many people into devotees, so many people he attracted in the Rath Yatra festival. Because he was used to make Rath Yatra cards. So he used to call people, random people on the street, and engage them in service. And used to give them so much service and deal with them so nicely and so lovingly that they just wanted to continue with that service. So this Jayananda Prabhu, everybody knew him in different names. Johnny Ananda, Jay, like that they knew him. And all these ruffians, all different kinds of characters, but he engaged everyone. And just to name a few devotees whom he made devotees, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj was caught by him. Our Dinabandhu Prabhu was also caught by him. So many devotees he made at that time, just through this Rath Yatra program. And he was fully absorbed in Rath Yatra and so humble. He actually was an engineer. He was not a hippie. He was an engineer by qualification, but he was driving a taxi for the temple to give the money to Prabhupada because the monthly rent was needed to keep the center running. Whole life he was so exemplary in his dealings. He was made the president of the temple, but he used to do somebody. One day somebody came to ask when he was preparing the Rath Yatra cart, "What do you do?" He used to say, "We have a temple here." He said, "What do you do?" He said, "I am the garbage man. I collect all the garbage and I put it out." That kind of humility he had. When he was diagnosed with cancer, he had lumps on his body and Rath Yatra festival was coming. He didn't even mention it because he thought that it will interfere with the festival. He didn't even mention it to the devotees. Finally, when the devotees came to know, they collected some money, some $5,000, and they gave it to for Jayanand Prabhu's treatment. Jayanand Prabhu gave the whole thing to Prabhupada. And he said, "This is a donation for Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita printing." And Prabhupada acknowledged it. And it was amazing because when the devotees asked him, "Jayanand Prabhu, why don't you take the treatment?" He said, "What's the use of this body anyways? Better to give it up." So some exemplary qualities Jayanand Prabhu showed. Not only detachment, but so much of love he gave to devotees, especially his love for prasadam. He used to cook and feed everyone so much. Sometimes they cooked so much halwa and they used to take with them. And for the program, before the program, they used to finish the whole thing. So Prabhupada there is one famous lecture of Prabhupada wherein he says, "Jayananda looks just like Lord Chaitanya." So Prabhupada loved him very dearly. And when he left in 1976, he had cancer. So Prabhupada said he has gone back home, back to Godhead. So he was known as the first saint in ISKCON. That while Prabhupada was present, Prabhupada very confidently said very strongly, he has gone back home, back to Godhead. He said like, he declared, he has gone back home, back to Godhead. So devotees felt very strong. Prabhupada also said that he was such an exemplary personality, therefore his appearance and disappearance should be celebrated just like Acharyas. He also said that put Jayanand Prabhu's photo on every Rath Yatra cart. And that is something that till today we follow. We try to put Jayanand Prabhu's photo on Rath Yatra cards. So in ISKCON, even in Rajapur, we find Jagannath Mandir, they've kept a small memorial of Jayanand Prabhu. So some exemplary devotees. who gave themselves to Lord Jagannath. And that's how you come into the eyes of the Lord. The whole idea, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, don't try to see God, act in such a way that God sees you. So, keeping this in mind, this was an example of how Jayanant Prabhu, he acted in such a way that he came to the notice of Srila Prabhupada, who used to ask, where is Jayananda? And then they used to find him, he's doing hardest work he was doing in the temple, maximum service. So that is something we can take away. Act in such a way that God sees you. So on this occasion of Rath Yatra, let us take the advantage of this festival that is upcoming next week and participate enthusiastically, keeping our mind, uh, you know, wanting to make offerings of love to Lord Jagannath. Jagannath Swami ki. Any questions or comments? Yes, anybody some questions on Rath Yatra or Lord Jagannath? Yes. Mood of service. It's for the Lord's pleasure. Always the mood, our mood always has to be like that. It's a mood of service. It's a seva we are performing for the Lord's pleasure. He likes it. Because as we discussed, that the whole idea of Rath Yatra is pulling the Lord from Vrindavan to, from Dwarka to Vrindavan, Kurukshetra to Vrindavan. So, so he likes, he wants to do it. So our job is service. We have been given that service. We are fortunate to have that service. So that's the mode while pulling the card. Service. Yes. Any other question or comment? Yes, ma'am. Why Sudarshan? Yeah, because he is the, this is the, uh, this is, he's in, this is Krishna in Kurukshetra. He is Dwarkadhish. So Dwarkadhish, he has, this is his weapon. So then it's Sudarshan who becomes. Because this is not that Krishna who is having flute and peacock feather. He's not that Krishna. The gopis want him to become that. And that's why they're pulling him to Vrindavan. And there Radharani says that, where is your flute? Where is your peacock feather? That's not here. Here you're having mukut. So like that. That's the whole thing. Okay. Any other question or comment? Yes. Yes. So, and she offered herself also. It came true. She offered herself in this way. She offered herself. Okay. So we'll end here. Any announcements or something? So next week, what is it? Would you like to make? So next Saturday. So there won't be class next Saturday. There will be Rath Yatra in Bhiwandi. Next 2 Saturdays there are Rath Yatras. So some practical application of today's class, and let us observe now how much went inside, and what happens to this input. Sri Jagannath Swami ki, Sri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki, Sri Jagannath Rath Yatra Mahamahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.